Villagers around the crossing today. We're ranking 18 frog villagers because I know today's like, sort of a rainy day, so why not, rank them, because they're quite, they like the rainy weather, they like the tropical season, so I was thinking around that sort of area, June would probably be the best month for them, so let's get into it, shall we? Our first villager we have is Camofrog, who's a cranky villager. Well, the only call that I could only think of for Camofrog that would be more suitable for him would have to be Jungle Call, because I remember that Tiger had Jungle Call on, but she also included Camofrog because of his design. It's more iconic to Jungle Call than it is in any other calls, so I could sort of relate to that. But the thing is, he's not one of my personal favourite sort of frogs in general, so that's why I give him like a 4 out of 10. But in the end of the day, you might have different opinions to me when it comes to frog villagers. That's what we'd probably stay on that bit really. Let's get to the next one, shall we? Well, our next villager is Croque, who's a jock villager. Well, the thing is, I was kind of thinking to myself, because of his sort of kind of design in a way, I was thinking, because he likes, something related to Japanese sort of thing when it comes to sushi, etc. I thought, why not put him in Japanese core, because of the way he sort of looks in a way, and plus, he looks like a very cool, looking chef in a way, so I quite like that about him. So, I gave him a 5 out of 10 because he's not one of the most popular sort of frogs there are out there, and plus, he definitely needs more fans out there, because I think Cousteau is definitely someone I would definitely want to have on my eye at some point or somewhere. Our next villager we have Croque, who's a cranky villager. Well, the thing is, he looks a bit, similar to Cousteau because they both got the same mustache. But one thing, his mustache looks a bit like, a bit off-roading than it is for Cousteau in a way. But they both kind of look like, kind of related, the pair of them. But in a way, he looks more crankier than Cousteau in a way, that's what I'll probably say. But they both, represent Japanese core very well, so you could have them both as roomies for Hate in Paradise if you've got the DLC, etc. So you could do lots of things with that, but for me, he's not one of my personal favourites, and plus he's one of my least, favourite sort of, frog villager in particular because of design, etc. So that's why I give him a 1 out of 10, etc. So let's get to the next one, shall we? Next villager we have Diva, who's a Sicily villager, or Gigi villager in particular. Well, for me, I'm kind of thinking to myself is that Diva's definitely one that I'll recommend for desert crawl because of the way she's sort of kind of dressed. She's got Egyptian sort of queen outfit on, which gives me desert vibes, so that's why I was thinking the only time you're going to get a different core is if you have frogs who've got the same sort of outfit in particular. Well, I don't mind Diva in particular. I think she looks more like, one of the best sort of frogs there are that has a very good combination when it comes to desert core islands, etc. So that's why I'm giving her a 6 out of 10. I don't mind that much, and plus it'd be nice to see her a lot on everybody's islands. That's what I'll probably say really. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Drift, who's a jock villager. Well, I had to only go with Kid Core for him for some reason, because I think he looks like he was suited very well, because one thing you could probably argue that his house interior might look more Kid Core than it might be for his actual design, for example, so you could argue that sometimes. But the thing is, I've not seen him lately when it comes to Kid Core islands lately, so I wonder if he can fit other cores, but not related to Kid Core, etc. Maybe Tropical Core or maybe Jungle Core, whatever. Because when it comes to frogs, they could also count in Jungle Core if you wanted to. If you guys are looking for Jungle Core villagers, Drift could be one of your examples or anything. Well, for me, I had to give him a 7 out of 10 because I like his design. He looks more he looks one of those tropical frogs that you might find in the Amazon rainforest in South America or something like that. That's why he kind of relates to me a little bit when it comes to that, so that's why I think he deserves a 7 out of 10 from me. So let's get to the next one, shall we? Our next villager is Throwback, who's a jock villager. Well, the only core that I could only go with for him would have to be Goth Core, because his design looks a bit creepy looking a little bit, and it might give you Goth Core vibes. Well, he'll fit in with that. But again, I'm not sure what other cores he would also fit in as well, so it's a bit I'm not really that sure when it comes to that. And plus, I had to give him a 2 out of 10 because one thing, he's kind of kind of a bit creepy, and I don't think I could have him on my island if he looked that creepy and creeping me out every single second, So that's why he's one of my least favourite sort of frogs there are that I wouldn't have on my island, etc. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Gigi, who's a snooty villager. Well, I only had to go with probably egg and core for her for some reason because of like how she looks kind of look more like, you know, elegant than most of like, you know, most snooties might look in a way. So that's why I give her like, you know, egg and core in particular. But the only downside is that I feel like her designs have gone a bit over the top a little bit because it makes her look a bit like on the creepy side for me. So that's why I've given her a 1 out of 10. And plus, because it's so over the top, I just didn't know what to do when it came to it. I felt like she might be the imposter of Jambette in a way, don't you think? So our next villager is Henry, who's a smug villager. Well, I'm sort of thinking to myself, I know Froggy Crossing really wanted him for Kidcore and obviously he's already on her island and that stuff, but I'm sort of thinking to myself that if I was going to have like, you know, Henry in particular, what core would I pick for him? Well, I would go with, personally, City Core because he wears that denim sort of jacket, so why not? It gives me like City Core vibes straight away, so why not go City Core with him as well? So he could be in any core. That's all I can say on my sort of behalf on, you know, Henry, etc. But I've given him an 8 out of 10 because he looks kind of like, you know, sweet, and he's like a sweet little gentleman who wants to live on your island and you just want to have him like put him on top of your list, etc. So yeah, that's why I give him an 8 out of 10. Let's get to the next one, shall we? For our next villager, we have Huck, who's another smug villager. Well, the thing is, I don't actually mind Huck really because he looks kind of like, you know, funny. He looks kind of funny and sussy at the same time. But plus, the only core that I can only suggest for a rhetorical core, so he might fit that core very well because of where he sort of looks in a way. And plus, he like wearing like I think it's like a t-shirt with like lots of like stripes with like white and green stripes, so I can sort of relate to that. So that's why I've given him like a 9 out of 10 because I quite like Huck because I met him in Pocket Camp at some point, but who knows, I might see him again if I'm doing villager hunting, if I'm going to do villager hunting in the future, who knows. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager we have Jambette, who's a Nor villager. Well, the thing is, I'm thinking to myself is that Jambette's definitely gained a few fans lately, like, you know, Little Branches now have her on her new island, Funfetti, and she would definitely fit that vibe as well. And plus, I'm thinking to myself, if she had the Harry in Paradise DLC, she could actually, like, you know, model her house because at the moment it's like, you know, a current state. I think it's like a current state sort of starter home that needs remodeling a little bit, so she could remodel their houses when it comes to Funfetti and make it like, you know, spruce it up a little bit because that's what I would have done. And plus, Jambette definitely can fit into 2 cores as well, so I was thinking Jungle Core and Mermaid Core because one thing is, the reason why I've gone with Mermaid Core because I can see that her outfit looks like a mermaid dress sort of thing, so it gives me that vibe that she might also fit Mermaid Core. So for example, at the moment, I think Liz Clausen's making an island based on Mermaid Core, so I think Jambette will just fit, like, suit in that vibe as well. And if you're doing a Jungle Core island, I would recommend Jambette in particular. Well, I've given her a 5 out of 10 because I'm not really sure if she's gained more fans or anything like that, and I feel like because she's kind of like, you know, underrated for no reason at all, I feel like she needs more fans out there in a way, so that's what I'll probably say on that really. So our next villager we have Jeremiah, who's a lazy villager. Well, the thing is that he's definitely one of the first lazies that we've actually seen because there haven't been much of lazy villagers in the species of frogs lately. And plus, you might actually see Jeremiah on Leapfrog when I do my Iron Tour video when it premieres on Friday, which is actually tomorrow, so good luck, you might actually get to see Jeremiah on that day, you know. And plus, I had to recommend him in Kid Core because I know that Froggy decided to have him as a Kid Core villager because he probably would fit the Kid Core aesthetic more because he's kind of got a mixture of a light blue and dark blue, which is why I kind of like the colour scheme around it. And plus, I gave him an 8 out of 10 because he looks so cool. He's a lazy villager. It kind of looks more of a lazy villager in my opinion as a frog. He looks like, you know, very chilled out and all that stuff. That's why I give him an 8 out of 10. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager we have Lily, who's a Nor villager. Well, I know she's like the most popular sort of like, you know, frog there is, and plus I know that Froggy Crossing's definitely had her on Pelican Bay recently as well. But even though she's already left the island, she hasn't seen Lily for a while, so I know there's a few fans out there that definitely love, you know, Lily in particular. And that's why I've given her like, you know, a 9 out of 10, because I know she's got a lot of fans out there, but I would have given her a 10 out of 10, but she's not personally my favourite one, so that's why I give her a 9 out of 10, particularly because she's just, you know, a sweetie, isn't she? But our only core that I could only go with would have to be probably Fairy Core, because Froggy had her in Fairy Core and she really suited that vibe. But you could also argue Jungle Core might fit her as well, so she can argue a few things when it comes to cores, so you can recommend her in different cores as well, so that's what I'll probably say on that bit really. So on next video we have Prince, who's a lazy villager. Well, I couldn't really think of what to sort of rank him, so I had to give him a 4 because he designed a little bit, you know, a bit off-putting for me, and plus if he design looked a bit more better, I wouldn't mind, like, more or less. But he also, I was thinking maybe why not give him like Jungle Core, because he's a frog, isn't he, a little bit, and he probably fit very well, don't you think? So our next villager is Puddles, who's a Perry villager. Well, the thing is, I don't know why, but I feel like Puddles is definitely the only Perry villager there is in the frog species for some reason, but at the end of the day it makes her kind of more unique to me, to be honest, because I do have her on my island, and plus she's one of my favourite frogs. That's why I'm giving her a 10 out of 10, because she's one of my favourites and she always gives me a bit of a laugh sometimes when I'm, you know, feeling a bit down and something like that. And also, I would also recommend her in Fairy Core, because she would probably fit the vibe more, because she's more like, she looks more pink, and she's got a bit like a red sort of colouring as well, so she probably fit the vibe a little bit more. And plus, I know that Tiger was actually, you know, trying to villager hunt for Puddles, but on Emerald, because I know that she was desperately wanted Puddles, but also I think when she was like, you know, trying to do I think it was Atlas, she managed to get Puddles at last, and I was thinking, wow. So on Emerald she was after her as one of her dreamies, but all of a sudden when it got to like around, you know, Atlas, which is literally her new recent sort of island, she managed to get Puddles in the end. So that's a good backstory, isn't it? Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Raddle, who's a lazy villager. Well, the only core that I could only suggest for Raddle is that he might be related to more like goth core vibes, because he looks like a doctor, isn't he? But he's wearing like you know, a mask for some reason, but you might know why. But at the end of the day, he's definitely one of my least kind of favourite frogs in particular, because one thing, he looks like it's definitely one of those frogs that you just don't want on your island these days. So that's why I've given him a 3 out of 10, because I couldn't really, like, you know, think of anything else, to be honest. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager we have Ribbot, who's a chop villager. Well, the thing is, I'm sort of thinking to myself that Ribbot is definitely one that I'll probably recommend for goth core, because he looks kind of creepy, but at the same time he's actually a frog that looks like a robot in a way, so he's kind of related to a robot. So what do you think? Maybe goth core might fit him very well. And plus it would be good if you had like all 3 of them, like, you know, Ribbot, Sprocket and Zeppelbot, because all 3 of them are indeed robot villagers in total. But the thing is, I know he's not, like, you know, that popular, so that's why I'm giving him a 5 out of 10, because I didn't know what to give him as a rank. So I was thinking, if he's not that popular, then I might as well just give him a 5 out of 10 as a safe spot for Ribbot for today. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So on next villager we have Tad, who's a jock villager. Well, the thing is, I'm sort of thinking to myself that I might as well just, like, you know, suggest him as a kickoff villager, because his design looks like, you know, very suitable for kickoff, but you could also argue he might fit other cores. Maybe you could suggest him in Jungle Core if you wanted to, but I wouldn't mind in particular. And plus, I was also thinking that if you wanted to, like, you know, put him with Lily as roommates and hang in Paradise, I also recommend it, to be honest. But I've given him a 7 out of 10, because I don't really mind him that much. And plus, him and Lily could always, like, you know, be roomies if you wanted to do it on having in Paradise, or just, you know, having both on your islands or something like that. So let's get to the next one, shall we? Our last villager we have Wart Jr, who's a cranky villager. Well, the only core that really stands him more outly would have to be Japanese core, because he looks kind of more zen in a way, and plus you could also put him in goth core because he looks kind of like, you know, quite creepy in a way, you know what I mean? But personally, he's one of my least favourite frogs, so I had to give him a 1 out of 10 because I feel like his design's a little bit, you know, it kind of puts me off a little bit, and plus, he's definitely not kind of my aunt if his design's a little bit like, you know, a bit out the blue a little bit, you know what I mean? Let's get to the next part, shall we? Well, I hope you guys sort of enjoyed this video today, and plus I am planning to make some short films soon, so if you guys like sort of interested, I thought I might like, you know, give you the heads up on that sort of thing. And plus I might actually like, you know, start recording it today, and I'll give you like, you know, the trailer of it to probably tomorrow, probably after 5 p.m, because I know that my Iron tour is actually premiered at 5 p.m, so just be on the safe side. Make sure to leave a like on this video, and if you're new to my channel and want to see more of my content, please subscribe. There's a variety of content. I enjoy my involved Animal Crossing content or Utopia content. Well, I'm definitely going to still do Animal Crossing content at the moment, but I might do Utopia next week just to be on the safe side, okay? Also turn notifications for Animal Crossing and Utopia content for me as well. Say bye from around there crossing. Now I'll see you in the next one, so bye!